hello everyone. Good morning, good night, good evening, whatever it is that you are. We welcome you to today's live, and I'm going to call my husband right here so he can join in front of the camera. And I'm behind the camera. I'm Marty, and we are the owners of the Bonsai Supply. And today we are spending time with you. We're gonna work on this Ilex. Jerome will tell you a little more about it in a bit. And you can ask questions during this live. So please ask any questions that you might have about this species or other species that you might have in bonsai. And then the finished tree will go to our website, thebonsaisupply.com, for an online auction for the following 48 hours. So if you are in the United States and you like this tree, it can be shipped straight to you. So make sure you participate after the live. And without further ado, also before that, please let us know we're going live on TikTok at Jerome underscore bonsai, and on our YouTube channel, we are the Bonsai Supply. So please write in the comments where you are tuning in from. We'd love to say hello to you. And in the meantime, I'm gonna have Jerome introduce himself and talk about the tree.
Well, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, like Mari said to all of you guys. I am Jerome, and I am the artist at the Bonsai Supply. Now, I got a dwarf Ilex with me here, or a dwarf Yupon holly. These trees are very cool. They are evergreen little bushes. They do flower, and this tree being an evergreen means that it does not lose its leaves in the fall. So it keeps the leaves on throughout the year. And if you live in a little bit of a colder climate, some of the leaves might turn almost like a purple. But if you live in a tropical climate, the leaves will not turn purple. They will just stay green. And here is the next hint. This tree can be kept pretty much anywhere in the United States. Whether you live in Florida in a super tropical climate, or you live in Colorado where it is very cold, just protect this guy when the temperatures drop below that freezing point. You want to keep it right around 26 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter time, but you would keep this with the rest of your temper trees like your maples or like your azaleas, and then you will be fine. Now, the first thing that we like to do, or what we like to do, we only like to work on trees that look like this. They look like a hot mess. If your tree does not look like this, it may not be ready to be worked. And the reason why we want to make sure that it turns into a hot mess is because the more this on top here grows, the more the roots grow. So meaning, look at this, right? Seeing all of this growth, does that mean that this tree has a lot of roots? Absolutely it does, right? Without this amount of growth, there would not be any roots. Or the other way around. If it had no roots, there would not be this amount of growth on the tree. So a lot of growth means a lot of healthy and happy roots. And so when I repotted this tree last year, late springish, I cut the root ball, I put it into this pot with our bonsai soil, which is the Bonsai Supply all-purpose soil, and I just let it grow. I did not trim anything back at that point. I just let it grow, and now as you can see, this is the indicator, like I said, that this tree has a lot of healthy and strong roots. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start to clean this tree up a little bit. And what I mean by cleaning it up, I'm going to remove some of the branches that are dead. Yes, there are a few in here because the sun cannot reach all the way into the canopy since it is covered with this dense foliage here. So some of the branches down here have died off because I just let it grow uncontrollably. So I'm going to start to clean that tree up, and I'm going to give it back to Mari in the meantime while I do so.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I'm going to say hello to some friends on YouTube. Maryland, hello from Brownsville, Texas, hello. Hello, Karen from Boynton Beach in Florida. That's amazing. We love Karen. Karen is a regular, and we are happy to have you here. Michael, happy Wednesday from Philly and the OG Yellow Pot Club.
Yeah.
So the president, or what's the vice president? I don't remember what you guys
You know, I don't remember what my
decided.
job. I don't remember what my job description was exactly at the Yellow Pot Club, but it's nice to have you, man. Welcome back. It's always good to see you or hear you.
Kimberly, hi from Whitesburn, Kentucky. Hello. And let's see on TikTok. Hello from California, Generation Landscape. Jason Lee from Colorado. Hello, hello. Beta Ray Bill, also California. I love it. The Queen of the Pine Ups. Hello from New Orleans, from Carl and my son-in-law Ryan. Hello, hello. Alex, hello from South Carolina. Amazing. Mr. Wonderful on TikTok, Lexington, Kentucky. I love that username.
Talking about Kevin O'Leary? Mr. Wonderful?
It might. I don't know if Mr. O'Leary lives in Kentucky, but I love the username, Mr. Wonderful, so I love it.
I love it too.
Gilmer, saludos desde El Salvador. Hola, hola. Amazing. So we're happy to have you all here today. And for those that might be just joining in, this is an Ilex, and Jerome will be styling it. This tree will go to our website, thebonsai.supply.com, and it will go to a 48 hours online auction where you can bid for the tree if you are in the United States. And you're all encouraged to ask questions about the species or any other bonsai questions that you might have. So let me see. I see a question already from Michael. Okay. So in zone 7, when is the best time to repot and hard prune?
What are you repotting?
I would say, since we're working on an Ilex, let's talk about the Ilex.
So when is the time to repot and prune was the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very, very simple. Tropical trees get repotted in the summertime, and everything else under the sun gets repotted in the spring at bud break. So if you don't know what you have, right? Like if you know at least the name of it, you can at least go to Google and Google what you have. So like if you have a ficus tree and you're not entirely sure, is it temperate or tropical? You can zip over to Google and type in, is a ficus a tropical tree? And it will give you the answer, yes it is. So then you will go ahead and repot it in the summertime. So now typically we don't do any pruning on the trees until the first growth of the year has hardened. So if your trees have been worked already or not, you would want to repot them if they're tempered in the spring, and then you can prune them the first time when the first flush of growth has hardened off, if that makes sense. Now tropical trees, I usually like to wait until they start to actively grow and only prune them when they are actively growing. So tropical trees, I will start to prune them in the summertime.
All right. Great. And I want to say hello to Steve from Wisconsin. Thomas, greeting from California. Let's see, William from Massachusetts. Amazing. Osler from Peru. I love her. Latinos in the house.
Representing.
Yeah, and since since you were already talking about repotting, I think it's important that you also mention, especially for those tuning in on TikTok, because it's a newer crowd, talk about bonsai soil.
Yeah, of course. So when you repot, I really encourage you to stay away from the black soil. You know, the black potting soil that you're used to when, I'm sure most of you, or pretty much all of you, have gardened before. Leave that black soil in the garden where it belongs. Potting soil belongs into the gardening area. So if you're repotting tomatoes or whatever, use black potting soil. But everything else, once you go into the more, I would say more like the niche market, like let's say cactus, succulents, orchids, bonsai trees, you want to make sure that you use a specific soil that was created for these type of plants. So for bonsai trees, as you can see, we don't use black potting soil. Instead, we use a bonsai soil. Now this bonsai soil is made of 4 aggregates. They are volcanic aggregates, and they are made in the United States. And the reason why this mixture is so good is because trees are growing in a shallow container for a very long time, a period of time, and so therefore we want to make sure that we have the best soil for our trees, and we need to make sure that air can go into the soil and aerate the roots, water can freely drain and not log, and most importantly, you want to make sure that the water inside the pot dries out evenly, and that can only be achieved by using a good bonsai soil. And of course, you want to make sure that your tree lasts for many, many years to come, and that can only be achieved by using proper bonsai soil.
Yeah, and for those that might be new with the bonsai soil that we use, and is our brand as well, this is how it looks. So I wanted to
So
show
this
it
is
to
actually
you.
the exact same soil that is in this pot. Sorry, that is in this pot. This soil is ready to use. It is pre-mixed already, so you don't have to do anything. Use it as is, and before you ask, you can use this for any species under the sun. So popquiz, can you use it for ficus? Well, absolutely. Can you use it for juniper? But of course. Can you use it for black pine? Absolutely. Whatever you do in bonsai related, stick to this one type of soil, and you will thank me later.
Yeah, and I love that on TikTok I see a question that says, "Well, will there be a giveaway today?" And
There can be.
yeah, and the answer is yes. So stick around for a little longer because we are going to give some products away as well. So yeah, great
The
question.
answer to a giveaway is always yes, okay?
Yeah, and I see also on TikTok they're asking, what about bougainvillea bonsai? So if you can talk a little more about how what the repotting
Yeah.
looks on that.
So bougainvillea, once again, right? We are not sure what type of tree it is. Well, I just Googled it, or actually I know what it is. It's a tropical tree.
Well, but exactly the step will be to Google it if you don't know what it is. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why she's here, guys. She always keeps me honest and on track. So first you will go ahead and Google this tree, right? And then you find out, okay, it is a flowering tropical tree. So right away, you know from what I have told you that we repot that. I don't know, because I go by the temperature. So let's say you're in June, but you're in a colder climate, and you're like, well, it says it's summer, so I can go ahead and repot it. Well, not so fast. Now, the minimum temperature to repot a tropical tree is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So you want to make sure that you have that minimum temperature before you think about repotting. And then you can go ahead and repot it and put that tree right back into full sun. Now it is important though that after each repotting that you go ahead and water the trees until the water runs clear from the bottom. And also right after a repotting is when the trees are most vulnerable, right? It puts a lot of stress on the trees, and that's why we only repot every 1 to like 4 years depending on what type of tree you have. Tropical trees and more vigorous trees get repotted more often on a yearly, maybe biannual basis. And so after we repot them, we want to make sure that we keep them out of direct wind, because the wind tends to dry out the tips of the branches, right? It evaporates the moisture. And so if your tree is not strong enough at that point because it just got repotted, you might lose a few branches. So keep it out of direct wind, full sun, and you are good to go.
Yeah. Great. And I know you guys have seen that bonsai wire that was coming really close to the camera. So this can be a very dangerous hobby, guys. So be careful to use the wire in front of your wife's face.
Or give her safety glasses. Are you wearing safety glasses, Mari?
I'm not, so
But
this is...
That's then your fault, because I feel like you should be wearing safety glasses.
Okay. So since I know this is second nature for you,
It's like
if you
brushing
can,
my teeth.
if you can give people that might be new to bonsai, a little more insight. So what is your process when you are wiring this tree?
Of course. So wiring branches is kind of like braces for your teeth, right? Your teeth are not exactly where you want them to be. You want them to be somewhere else. Same idea with this wire. We want these branches to be in a specific place. So we use this wire here to guide these branches into those places where we want them to be. Like this branch up here was over here, but now with wire I can bring it down into wherever I want it to be. And so I leave this branch in that position until the wire starts to dig into the branches, right? So what does that mean exactly? Because I know some of you are already typing, stop typing, and now you're going to say, when should I remove that wire, or how long am I supposed to leave that wire on? That really depends on climate, vigor, as well as species. So here's a little tip. Right now we're still in the winter time, which means that right now I don't have to keep an eye on the wire because the tree is not actively growing. But in the spring, once the trees start to wake up, that's when you want to go ahead and watch them actively and make sure that, once the wire starts to dig into the branches, it's a good time to go ahead and remove that wire. And then usually what happens is the wire may have not set the branch exactly where you want it to be. So what you would want to do at that point is just rewire the branch. So this is what I do. So you wire this branch right into position, and then you take the wire off, and then the branch goes like that, right? A little bit. It will stay in a new position to probably like 80 or 70%. So you would rewire the branch, put it back into position, and usually after the second wiring, it will stay in place.
Yeah, amazing. And hello, checking in from Fort Worth, Texas, Backyard Bonsai and Blooms.
Well,
Welcome in. Beth, hi, Mari and Jerome. Hello, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Nelly, hi from Southern California. And I arrived late. What tree is being worked on? So it's working in a third Ilex. And I see Kimberly. I have several weeping willows. They have started growing from a cutting, and the stems are starting to grow good and getting long. Yeah, the stems. That's true. And getting long. Yeah. When should I put them in the bonsai soil?
Oh, okay. So if they're starting to grow, like you said, they're starting to grow well, get bonsai soil immediately, and you can go ahead and repot, right? So your spring may have already started because, like you said, you're in Southern California, if I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and repot these guys right away. And then what you want to do again is keep them out of the direct wind. And
well, actually, sorry, Kimberly is in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, same in general.
So you may already be in the spring, right? And the trees are already waking up. I don't know what the temperatures are over there. But, so go ahead and repot them. Keep them above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really important until the temperatures are steadily above 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you don't have to protect it anymore. And also keep it out of direct wind. So, once again, repot it. Give it as much light as you can and keep it above 40 degrees Fahrenheit and out of wind, whatever that looks like. You can take it indoors by a bright window. As long as there's no direct wind touching your tree, you are good to go.
Right, wonderful. And that tree, I see you cutting and cutting and cutting, but the tree doesn't get smaller somehow.
I love Ilexes. They're my favorite tree. Well, not my favorite tree. They're one of my favorite trees. I really love them. They're so easy to work. And as Mari said, like, I have removed so much, but yet there's still so much growth left on the tree. And that's what I like about them. They grow so dense. They're very forgiving. And I mean, they naturally have these smaller leaves, smaller flowers. So they're just... it's just a godsend of bonsai materials. Like Mother Nature was like, let's create a natural bonsai tree, and she came up with this.
Yeah, especially like the base, like the trunk. And in this material that we have today is really, really nice.
It's really nice. You're right about that.
But I would say in general, I do find they have great trunks. And funny fact, you guys, we actually had our wedding ceremony with an Ilex.
That's true.
We did some sort of like a tree ceremony.
Do you remember what tree that was? Like, what else is significant about that tree? Our wedding ceremony tree. It's also our logo tree.
Oh, that's true.
And it's also
oh my
on
gosh.
the back of the tree.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So we might ask it in the pop quiz later on the giveaway.
So Ilex are definitely a special species for us and a really great one to use for bonsai. So yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's our this species of our logo too. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I know you said everything that you love about Ilexes. Is there something that you might not like as much or one little flaw they might have? You know, nobody can be perfect.
An Ilex can, and I can too.
Oh.
Let me think. Why don't you guys comment what you think of some of the downsides or the flaws of an Ilex? I can't think of any right now. I might need some help on this one, guys.
Okay.
Or do you know of any?
Seems like it's a quite perfect species. I mean, I think I'm trying to because I was like, it has flowers. It definitely has it all. But I don't think is it that much like weather resistance? Like it could be a bit delicate. Can I?
It can be delicate if you are not watering it correctly, right? And that's actually a good point that you mentioned it. Like, and I'm sure some of you are thinking about that maybe too. So how do you water this guy correctly, right? This is like anything else. When a tree is not growing in the off season of growing, like right now, it doesn't need a lot of water, right? Now, but Jerome, look at all this growth. How do you know that it's not actively growing? Very good question, Jerome. So you look at the tip of the branches and you see if there's new small leaves emerging or small buds swelling, that's when you know that the tree is still actively growing. But right now, I'm looking at all of the tips and there's nothing new coming out here. So that means that this tree is not actively growing, which means that it does not need a lot of water right now. So you could keep it slightly moist, almost on the verge of drying out. How can you tell that this soil is slightly moist on the verge of drying out? As you can see right now, I hope you can see it on the surface here, the rocks are very bright. The white, which is the pumice, and the lava rock is like that light grayish. That's what it looks like when it's dry. When it's wet, the soil looks darker. So it gives you that good indicator of when it is dry and when it is wet. Now, once it starts to grow, you want to obviously keep it wet pretty much all the time, which you just need to water this tree once a day in the morning before 10 a.m. and that's it. That's all we do. Here in Texas, it was so hot this year. In the summertime, it was like 112 Fahrenheit consecutively for like 3 months. So there I had to water the trees, really saturate them with water in the morning before 10 a.m. And then at 5 p.m. when I would come home, I would just give them a nice little misting to cool them down from this really hot heat. But that's usually only required in the hot summer months.
Yeah, definitely. It's just one to look out during the summer, but as many other species. But yeah, I guess if we were to get picky, that might be the only thing.
That might be the only. I mean, has anybody said anything in the comments of why they do not like Ilexes completely, or?
I mean, besides that, they said that it's hard to find the material.
I was gonna say when you said like, oh, you really like the trunk. I was gonna say that it's extremely difficult. It's easy to find the species, but usually you find like 3 little twigs stuck in a pot. Look at this trunk. It has about a 2-inch, maybe 2.5-inch base at the very bottom at the flare, and then the rest of the trunk is an inch thick, like as thick as my thumb. and the tree goes all the way up here. So this is naturally a pretty far along developed tree. Like this tree is probably 5, 8, or maybe even 10 years old at this point with this trunk.
Looks really nice.
It looks very
Looks
nice,
really
absolutely.
This seems like it's a tree that it will need more pruning than anything and not that much wiring. The one that we have right now.
That's why I just wired a few branches so
It's
far.
looking so
Good
good.
observation. Good observation.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning up mostly a lot of stuff in here. And you know, when you first, like this is my first time working on this tree, right? Baby steps. Don't remove every single branch. You can do that if you are further along in bonsai and you have many, many trees, right? If you have maybe 10 plus trees, you can go ahead and remove everything that's wrong with it. If you don't have that many trees or you're newer in bonsai, you know, remove things a step by step, you know, like remove all the dead branches today and cut it back, you know, so that you always like have something to look at, you know, because if you only have 3 or 4 trees and you have one tree that has a nice trunk but only 2 branches, everybody who will come over will say, wow, what's up with this dead tree, because they don't know, right? And so, you know, like I'm doing here, I'm pruning it into shape, into the approximate size of the finished piece here. And then down the road, I can reduce more branches, remove some other branches, baby steps. Take it easy, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see a great question from TikTok. How will Ilex do in different parts of the country? For example, from Houston to New Orleans.
So, I would, and forgive my ignorance, but I would say that New Orleans and Houston, I would say that's the same weather.
Fairly same because they're close by.
I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
New Orleans is like 5 hours east, but it's along the Gulf of Mexico, right? And as are we, like in Houston. I don't know, but I don't know having that, don't know the growing zones, but I would say it's about an 8 or a 9 in New Orleans as well. Can you maybe look it up, the growing zones?
I mean,
maybe?
I
But
guess
that's what I would say.
the answer to this question is more about
In general?
in general, I would say the growing zones is something that for sure you wanna take a look at. But we actually have lived in different growing zones and we have moved around with the trees. So it's definitely an extra like step to make sure that they adapt and they transition to the new climate. So if you're like moving, there are some steps to take in order to transition the tree. But it is also normal if you lose them, because if they're acclimated to another climate and then you change them, they don't always take it that way.
Right. So, having said that, the best time to move, if you can choose it and time it, will be in the spring, because then the tree can acclimate to the new summer temperatures, because that's when it's the hottest. And you know, spend a really long time, like maybe 8, 9 months in that same climate to then adapt into the winter and then back into the spring. So if you can do spring, that would be best. But we have moved Ilexes from Florida to Georgia and then to Texas, and it never skipped a beat. Just keep it well watered in the summertime when it's actively growing, and you should be good to go.
I guess if you can give them
in
that.
general,
I was gonna say that tip that you usually give for, like checking the growing zones on Google. Like, I think that could help too.
what do you mean exactly?
Just to figure it out what growing zone you are and making sure that the tree can
Oh,
survive
the
from
growing
that zone.
zones. True. I thought we already covered that, but we talked about finding out what type of tree you have. So as Mari said, very good question. So you're moving from Houston to New Orleans. Google your growing zone in Houston, which is probably like a 8B, 9A, something like that. And then Google the growing zones in New Orleans, which I'm thinking is similar, like 8, 9. So as you know, these growing zones are fairly similar. They're pretty much the same, if I'm correct about that. You should not have any problems at all moving from one growing zone into the next. But I moved from Florida, which is a 10, to Georgia, which was an 8, and I had few setbacks on a lot of my trees. I even lost some. But that's very natural behavior because trees are not used to moving into different environments, right? When they're young like this, it's not a big deal. But when they're older and more refined, like let's say this tree was in bonsai training for 10 years, but the material had been like 10 years when I started, so it would be like 20 years in total. I would be a little more hesitant on moving it into a different state, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it seems like she just meant like about having trees in one place that you cannot or you might not be able to have in others. But I think it still applies the figuring it out, the growing zone to see if that tree can live in your climate.
Correct.
So yes, you will have some species that you might not have everywhere. So in this case, you will do that. You will just double check your growing zone and see if you can grow that in where you are in your
Exactly.
location.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to go back to YouTube. Hello, Sam from Miami, tuning in. Hello, Gering. Hello. Dago. Hello from Dallas. Amazing. Matis, hello from Quebec. Amazing. Thank you for joining us. Let me see. Okay, Beth has another question. How is it overwintering indoors with a grow light for a Minnesota climate, for example?
I'm assuming you're talking about tropical trees.
We're talking about Ilex, which is
Ilex
what we are
specifically?
working on right now.
So that's a very good question because it can grow in such a broad spectrum of climates. You can either treat it like a temperate tree or you can treat it like a tropical tree, which means that you could bring it indoors and use a grow light, because then you would treat it like a tropical tree. Or you can give it outdoors with your temperate trees, protecting it from temperatures below 26 Fahrenheit and keeping it out of the wind. Having said that, you cannot flip-flop. Like, once you decide you're going to treat it like a tropical tree, then you have to treat it like a tropical tree every year after that. Because if you treat it like a temperate tree one year, then like a tropical tree, then like a temperate tree, you're going to experience setbacks. Right now, this tree, you have the luxury because it was grown in Houston the entire duration of its life. You have the option to choose how you want to continue training this tree. But afterwards, stick with that decision.
Right. And on TikTok, great question. Will you be at the Bonsai on the Bayou in Houston in April?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess that's a little announcement without the formality. Yes, we're definitely going to be there. So if you are in Houston or around it and you can make the trip for the convention in April, and you can look it up, all of that with the Houston Bonsai Society, we'll be around. Yeah, so make sure to say hello.
Absolutely.
If you see us around there. Amazing. Let's see. Nigel, hello. Martin,
Hello,
Jerome, and
Nigel.
everyone. It's always a pleasure having you here, Nigel. And thank you so much for the soil and fertilizer. I can't wait to try it out. Oh, we're so happy that it finally arrived and we were able to sort it out. Canada, you are very complicated sometimes with gift sendings. So, but we made it happen. So excited that Nigel got the goodies. Let's say Gerardo, hello, from New York. And Gerardo is our Colombian friend. So hola Gerardo. Amazing. And I wanted to, since I see, well, let me put this a little lower so people can see actually that there's a lot of cuttings or foliage.
That I've made a mess.
Well, what I wanted to show
contained.
people is that you were making a mess, but it's contained, and I'm very happy about it. So please tell to our new friends about this potting mat they have saved relationships.
It has saved our marriage, I would say. So this, guys, I've been using this for quite some time now, which is a large potting mat. It's 39 inches by 39 inches, and you can clip together all of the corners. So as you can see, there's like little buttons. They snap together, and as you can see where I'm standing, I have not snapped them together so that I can access this area better. And so by having these corners snapped together, everything that I trim off pretty much falls right into this mat here, and my mess is contained. Now, once I'm done here, I'm just gonna move the tree, move the tools, grab these corners, right? Bring them together. I have a little package. I walk over to the trash, I open it up, and everything falls in there. I'm gonna wash off this mat with water, undo the buttons, fold it together, and stow away this little mat here. So it goes from a 39 by 39 inch square. It folds down into an 8 by 8 square, and you can easily stow it somewhere. And we use this for everything. So we use it for repotting, for trimming. Even when I carve stuff, all the sawdust falls right into this mat. We also use this to overwinter trees indoors, because imagine this tree, I'm overwintering it indoors, right? I have to water it. So I don't want the water to spill all over the floors. I want it to be contained. And this mat is waterproof. So now that the water is contained in here, it adds humidity to the tree here, right? Because the water will start to evaporate, adds humidity to this area. Really good for overwintering. I also use this, last but not least, I also use this to transport trees. So I always have a mat in the car, and these are really affordable to get, and that's why I recommend to have multiple of them. How much are we selling them for on the website? I forget.
I believe it's $9.99.
$9.99. I mean, you cannot beat that, right? So I always keep one in the trunk of my car, because you never know when you find a good tree to buy. And then I set it in this mat here, like on the back seat or in the trunk, fold out the corners. And then once again, the mess is contained, because the pot might be dirty, it might fall over and spill dirt all over the place. With this, it's contained, and as you can see, my wife allows me to repot trees indoors now. So because
From the Bonsai Wives Club.
That's right.
This is
We have a
approved.
solution for you.
Approved. And Nigel's actually saying, I forgot I got a mat too. So
you did?
yes,
Excellent.
Nigel, you're gonna get obsessed like we are. And
Has your marriage instantly improved since you got one?
and also, if you are watching from TikTok, it's actually attached to our product list, so you're able to buy it through the TikTok shop.
Even better.
And for those on YouTube, you can go to our website, thebonsaisupply.com, and you will see them there. They're also on Amazon, so you know whichever outlet is easier for you, there you'll find them.
They're actually also on Home Depot, by the way.
All right, and
So
Home
you can
Depot
also
too.
find them there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how I see you. I mean, it's looking great. How is it looking like? Us? Are we on the
It's
final
looking-
cuts?
Definitely. I just have a few more snips to make, but it's looking good. Now, don't get discouraged by this area here having lesser leaves. Can you see that this has a little less leaves than the
A
rest?
little. Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal, because this area here was growing stronger, and so all the foliage naturally was pushed out to the outer edges here. And now that I've trimmed it back into shape, I left a few leaves. In no time, new growth will start from here, and then you will have full canopy. So I really, really like the shape of this tree. It looks like a mature oak tree or something like that. It has a very natural growth pattern here. Now I'm just working here a little bit on cleaning this up a little more, but I'm really liking where this is heading as a first time styling. It's coming out really good.
Yeah, and while Jerome is going through the last cuts, I am going to give away one of the potting mats. Since we love it, and we would love to share it with you, and for you to also contain your mess and be making partners
I like that.
happy around in the world. So if you are on TikTok, I will give you a little bit of time to go to YouTube for this. It's going to be through our YouTube live. So you are able to see on the profile the link to YouTube, and you should be able to see the live demonstration over there. So I'll give you a few seconds to come by, and maybe while we wait for those making the transition, we can discuss pots, or is it too early to discuss?
No, let's do it.
pots?
I'm ready. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good here. Let me see. I need to put a little bit of a so that you guys can see the front of this tree, which I think should be very easy to see. I'm gonna put a little marker in here.
That tree looks really cute even in the back. I'm excited to see the front.
I don't want to show you with this because it will mess up the front. But so this is the front. Yeah, I really like this. So this is the front. You know what? Maybe I'll cut out this corner here.
We can see it.
You
We can see it. Yeah.
Alright, so this is my front here, right where the
Nice.
trunk is splitting.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it looks really cute.
this style, I would call this like an informal upright. It is going into the direction of a broom style, I think, or you could call it a natural style, which is what I would like to call this, or we can call it an oak tree style. But very cool. This is the overall height that and size that I want this tree to be at. So just minimal work to this tree, and you can take it to your next show at the club if you
So
want to.
nice.
Maybe,
Okay,
maybe
so-
keep it another year or two, and you're good to go.
My favorite part. So we're gonna work on some pots, which I actually realized we didn't bring any.
Well, you already know what color to bring me.
Okay. So you guys go thinking
We could
about.
also just imagine it, the pot, you know?
No, I think we gave enough time anyway for our friends from TikTok to go to YouTube, so we can do the giveaway. And in the meantime, you also should be thinking about what type of pot would you use for this tree if it was yours. So if you get this tree today and you want to repot it, what kind of pot will you use? Would it be, oval? Would it be rectangular? What color would it be? What glaze or unglaze? Let us know in the comments what type of pot will you pot this tree in, and we're also going to come up with some options. And if we see something in the comments that we actually have, we'll show it to you so we can, dream a little bit with and create with this tree. And while you think about that, I'm quickly going to do a giveaway, which is going to be one of the potting mats that you see over here. So for those that might have joined earlier, they should know this, or even in the middle, they should know this because we mentioned it a bunch of times. But the winner of this giveaway is basically the first comment to respond to this question. And the question is going to be, what species are we working on today?
Cool.
Let's see.
I like that.
All right, we have our first is Matty's, is Ilex. I love it.
Excellent.
And he was the
Congratulations.
first. So congratulations, and thank you also to everyone else that it was paying attention to this. So amazing. So Mattis, please send us an email to info@thebonsaisupply.com. I'm gonna put this in the chat already as well. And send us your mailing address, the address that you would like you to get that potting mat. And awesome, thank you for joining and congratulations.
Excellent, congratulations.
Amazing. So, all right. So I see also some options of pots, which is the next thing to do. And I see cream rectangle. Okay, cream
Ooh, I like
rectangle.
because it will match the flowers because they're also kind of cream color. I like that.
Okay, and then we have on glaze rectangular.
Okay.
So rectangle seems to be, because I see brown on glaze rectangular, okay. Let's see. I'm going to, so it's a cream. Okay, so I'm gonna look, I'm gonna look for a rectangular first because it seems like it's the most popular one. And you can tell them what will be your option and I'll look it up too.
Okay, so you already know the color.
I don't know, are you going well today or just same?
I mean, bring same. I always go same. But I really like the cream colored option. I like shallow and I like the rectangle option. But if I could be very picky, I would have the corners of the rectangle pot be rounded to soften the edges. I would like that. I really like that idea. That's spot on. And of course, I was gonna say yellow because it's one of my favorite combinations, tree and pot. So yeah, I guess those two would be mine. If I could do yellow, I would probably do oval. I think that would be beautiful. Oval and kind of long. Maybe have it the size of the canopy, maybe even a little bit longer. That would be very, very nice. Yeah, I think that's it.
Alright, so I have some pots with me.
Mm-hmm.
This first one, I know Kimberly said cream rectangular. So I have this off-white, which is closer to cream. I think that always works no matter what, because in this case it will match the flowers.
Yeah.
But in general, even if it doesn't match the flowers, it just pops. Like it does a nice contrast, and it just looks great with pretty much everything that I have seen in this kind of pot just works for me.
And these are the edges that I talked about. You see how these edges are a little more softer, like these are indented, so that works. Or if they are rounded, that works too, but not a straight rectangle. It would be too, with the round canopy, I don't think it would look too good.
Yeah,
But
okay.
other than that.
Next pot I have, is this the only on glaze we have at the moment. So it's not quite rectangular, it's more of a square.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you will get the idea with it at least. So let's
I would just
see it.
have it not as deep.
Yeah, not as deep for sure. But yeah, on glaze also works. Also works.
I mean, although you could go into this, into a little taller square pot and just have the canopy come out. Try something different, why not?
Yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
see it there on the screen, it does not look bad at all.
No, it looks
But
nice.
I'm holding
It looks
the
nice.
little crooked here, it does better.
Yeah, and of course for our OG members, we have
Got that yellow
the
pot.
option. And I'm gonna bring one more that is my personal choice.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, I do like yellow. I always like yellow, especially when you have a smaller tree like that. You can choose a louder color to go to really make the tree, stand out. Because if you display this tree in an exhibition and you have a lot of big trees, you need something to make people notice the smaller trees too. And one way to do that would be by using a pot that has a louder color, such as this yellow, red, pink, something like that.
Yeah, and my
Oh, I
plus
like that.
bonus option is this one. I actually like that one a lot. So yeah, I mean, I just like the colors. It's like very earthy, and I do love a glaze with a tree, the flowers anyway. So this will be my preference for sure.
I like this.
So,
Very good choice.
what do you guys think? What is your favorite choice? And for those that are gonna participate in the auction that we're gonna have with this tree, make sure you go to the bonsaisupply.com, and on the YouTube auctions you can bid for this tree for the next 48 hours. You give us an hour or so after this live to put this together, to put some pictures, and you can bid for this tree. And I just wanted to remind that this is only for participants in the United States at this time. But yeah, we hope you join us also in the online auction. So to wrap it up, I was just gonna say if you can give a summary of everything you did today and what people or the winner of the auction should do when they get the tree.
All right. So this, as you know, is an Ilex, or a dwarf Yukon holly. So the first thing that I did is, and this is what I do with all of my trees when I work them, or the first time I start a tree, I always remove everything that's dead, so all the dead branches, which is natural because the sun could not go and penetrate this thick foliage mass here. So remove all of that, go ahead and remove all the branches that I did not like or I was not going to utilize in the finished design, because chances are very high if I don't like the branch today, I'm also not going to like it in a year or 10 years from now. So I get rid of it right away. Then I went ahead and I took some of these branches in the front that pointed straight up, added some wire and just brought them down into shape to kind of open up the canopy a little more. And now this canopy is very airy, birds can fly through, you could see squirrels running around on the branches. It's not as dense anymore as it was at the beginning. I like that. So now whoever wins this tree, I recommend that you don't downsize the pot for the first repotting, but I do recommend that you go ahead and repot it. Wash out some more of the black soil, because when I reduced this tree, I reduced it from a pot this size to this size, so there's still some black soil in here. So I encourage you to take a soft water setting on your garden hose, wash out all of the black soil, and then repot it once again. You can use the same pot or bonsai pots that are just much larger. Use our good all-purpose bonsai soil mixture, repot it, and keep it for another year. But I would say keep this overall shape here and just clean up in between more as things start to grow. And that's really it. That's all I have.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you everyone who joined this live. We are going to continue to do this as often as we can. Make sure to check our website, thebonsai.supply.com, where we post the dates where we go live in case you want to plan ahead. But we always enjoy having you, if it is planned or not. So thank you for being here. Whatever it is that you're watching, please make sure if you're on TikTok, like this video, follow us if you haven't done that already. If you are on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you can be notified and be first to know when we're going live. And without further ado, I am going to say goodbye. Everyone, have a great rest of your day.
I'm going to join you in a goodbye. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. This is always a lot of fun and a lot of pressure for me. So thanks again for spending your evening with us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.